Hi guys, how you doing there? I just wanted to do a video on a altcoin called IOTA. It's a recent ICO coin, and what it does is it enables peer-to-peer, machine-to-machine payments over the web, basically for free. It also uses a different kind of a blockchain called a tangle, versus where a blockchain is one block does a compute, then it goes to the next block and that does a compute, then it goes to the next block and that does a compute. The tangle can actually send compute requests to different computers kind of in a mesh type of a network instead of an inline type of a network. So if you're familiar with electronics and actual like electricity, it's kind of gives you more like a series parallel configuration than just a series configuration. It just doesn't jump from one to the other. It can go all over the place. So it's pretty cool technology, which actually is one of the reasons why this jumped from basically when it ICO'd up to 9th and 7th here and recently in terms of the market cap of the coin. Anyway, that's a little bit I guess about the fundamentals, but this is a little more on the technical side of the charting. That's my specialty. I actually come from the stock market, about 15 years in stocks, and recently found cryptocurrencies. I actually traded Bitcoin back in 2013 quite successfully, and I just did one trade. I bought it at 255, sold it at about $1,100, and I hadn't touched it since up until this last June, where it started running like crazy and was all over the news, and then it finally caught my attention again. So here I am looking at these cryptocurrencies, and it's really interesting because the same chart patterns and the same technical methodologies that work in stocks tend to work in these altcoins as well. And IOTA really caught my eye because this has a type of a pattern which we would call an IPO breakout, but in coins it would be an ICO breakout, initial coin offering breakout. Now I'm actually discounting this large bar here because this pretty much negates any pattern you're ever going to find this early in an altcoin. But I drew a trend line here at about, what is it, like 61 cents, which is where this high occurred, and this high was tested and failed, and it's just resting here right now before it tries to break out again. So I just want to walk you through this pattern. This is known as a cup pattern with a possible handle, as you notice here on the right side of the chart. I drew these two lines. This is just a possible pattern where the handle could form. They're just arbitrary lines. This looks like a nice little angle for the handle to form in. Although the handle can take many forms. It could come down more steep. It could go sideways. I mean, technically it could even go up a little bit and then shake out and then go. That's a form of a handle, although not technically a handle. Anyway, enough with real technical stuff. So this is a cup base. If you notice, don't ask me, it kind of looks like a cup, right? Or a bowl, but they call it a cup. That's why I drew this here. It just comes down and then curves right back up. You really want to see, when you're looking for a cup base, you really want to see a nice, wide, nothing too crazy on the downside, nothing super crazy on the upside. This gives you kind of a really nice, rounded feel to the pattern. And what you're really looking for is the pause before it breaks into all-time highs. You're looking for volume towards the bottom of the pattern. You're also looking for volume increasing on the right side of the base. Those are the key things you're looking for. As a bonus, here we actually have a very little selling pressure on the left side of the base. So IOTA does a lot of things technically really well, which can lead to really good results. And with an altcoin, I'm really excited. Just for disclaimer, I am in IOTA at about 57.4, something like that. So I'm just I bought it a little bit early because I can't watch these as actively as I think I would need to really catch the breakout moment. Ideally, you would like to buy these like right within the same 15-minute time frame that they're breaking out of them, because these things can run fast. So let's dig a little bit deeper into this pattern and just kind of walk you through a bit of what's happening through this ICO up until current day. And it's not long, so it shouldn't take us more than 5 or so minutes. So we have the ICO breakout. We have this huge pop, which came right back down. Like I said, I'm negating this bar, mainly because this would kill any chart pattern we can possibly think of. And it's a one-off event, so I'm just going to nix it. You're just going to have to trust me on that one. Now, when we get up here, this definitely I think could be a factor in a pause, a break, or a sell-off. But we come here, it comes back, and then this is the first day that it pulls in, then it pulls in again. So this is our high that we want to reference. Okay, so our volume here starts to decrease, and then it gets really light, and then it pops here and tries to go above that level here at about 61 cents, fails, and comes all the way back in, and then proceeds to do this consolidation and this downturn right here. Now, one thing you'll notice, let me draw this low here, and what you'll see is this ICO low on the actual ICO day. This actually causes volume to increase once it's broken to the downside here on this large volume bar down here. When the price goes underneath it, causes a form of an island bottom. An island bottom it's a pattern where it goes down, or it's supposed to gap down in stocks, but these markets don't close, so I don't think gaps really occur. But a thrust down and then a thrust up, and everything in between is kind of called the island. And typically an island wouldn't be, it wouldn't chop around this and be considered an island. Like this isn't an island because it's in line. This is not in line. This is above. This is above. This is below. So this is kind of an island bottom, right? So you have the downdraft. And then you have, what I'm calling an island bottom. And this very bottom day, look at the volume on this very bottom day. It's the third highest in the entire history of this ICO up to this point, which is pretty spectacular. And the fact that this bar closes in the middle of the range of this bar indicates that this is an accumulation bar, which is really good for a cup with handle pattern. Ideally, you want to see really good volume. I would like to see this volume right here, but I'll take what I can get. But you want to see good volume at the bottom. You don't always get it, but it's a bonus. Then we have a huge up thrust in volume, which this is by far the most volume seen in this altcoin. On this thrust back above this ICO low, this is people getting interested again, knowing there's an opportunity. And then the volume continues, volume, right? The volume continues, then the volume flattens out and just goes sideways right along with the price. Now that's no accident. There's a little bit of action here around this ICO low, but it's really just going sideways. You have a couple pops beneath. Notice like here it closes kind of on that level, but that's really the only time it closes beneath it. Even here it closes above it. But look at these really low volume days. You have these pops of green. I mean, this is really nice. There's really no pops of red down here. There's this one little pop of red, but that's okay. And then boom, right here you come out of this little consolidation with some power. Look at that volume down here, that's really nice. And then it proceeds to just churn up. And it's still churning up a little bit. This thing may not even handle out, but I'm just so used to cup with handles that I always think of a handle. Anywho, this thing could just pop right out of here and continue up. If you've been reading this the whole time, cup with handle, possible handle here in all-time highs. I'm discounting the spike bar. It can also not even handle. I meant handle, but this says cup. These cryptos don't like to wait. I don't have a target, but look for enormous volume for sell signal. So I actually don't have targets. Targets are BS. They're false. You can say I've got a target of a Fibonacci on a 38% extension, 50% extension, whatever case, but you're literally just guessing. I mean, you are literally guessing. This analysis that I'm performing here, I am not guessing. This is actual historics that's happening, and what you're looking at is the psychology of people buying and selling this currency. That is not up for speculation. That is a fact. Now, if you want to argue this red bar is too big and it negates the pattern or something like that, then we can talk about that. But that's at least something specific. When we talk targets, there's nothing up here until 130. And it's so far up here that it's like negligible. It's not even a concern at this particular stage. I mean, if your biggest problem is resistance at $1.30, I mean, you're looking at just over 100% increase from this level. If that's your worst problem, you're going to have a happy life. But trying to place an arbitrary target is really difficult. Knowing when to sell is the hardest part of trading anything. Anything could be houses, could be land, could be cars, you name it, coins, stamps. The hardest part is knowing when to sell. You know, you're going to hold on to an investment for whatever your time frame is. You need to understand when you're like via your time frame when you're going to sell and why you sell. You should have buy rules. Like I just walked you through, my buy rule is typically over this all-time high on volume. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time like I used to sit here and babysit, so I bought it a little bit early. But that's a conscious choice that I made. That's part of this trading plan. My selling plan, however, is a little more, harder to pin down. Number one, because crypto's it's a little new to me. I've only been doing this really a couple of weeks, and like my stint in 2013 where I traded Bitcoin and did really good in Bitcoin for one trade. But I haven't touched it since, and from what I've seen, these things move fast. They move violently. Let me pull up another altcoin recently that made huge moves. OMG. So walk you through really fast OMG. Here we have an ICO breakout. There's a failed breakout. Here's the real breakout. Crazy volume. Curled back in. And we've gone from, your ICO breakout. This is the point where you actually want to be involved. 92 cents. It's now $6. That's a 600% increase since January 23rd. Today is August 10th. That's like 2.5 weeks for you to make 600%. If you can't hold 2 weeks for 600%, 2.5 weeks for 600%, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. I mean, you're over trading, and that is honestly, that's kind of one of my flaws, is I do over trade a little bit too much. But let's look at this. I mean, it sounds very simplistic to say hold for 2.5 weeks, make 600%. But let's look at this. Odds are you're not going to buy this right here, right? It's going to go up. You're going to be a little cautious. Should I buy it? Should I not? Maybe the volume's good. Maybe it's not. Maybe it goes up and has an instant pullback and you get scared. And then it up thrusts and you're like, oh, is it going to pull back again? Then it goes up and up. Maybe you get in up here. I mean, maybe you get here at $1.30. Well, guess what? It's all fine and dandy at $6. But when this coin gets down to $1 and you're in at $1.30, for easy math, you're down 30%. That's going to be a little painful. The question is, can you hold? Do you have the discipline to hold? Do you know the technicals of what's happening to know if this is a normal move or if this is something that needs to be sold? And that's more where the art of selling comes into play. So let's look at this. Say you got in at 130, goes here, doesn't go anywhere, but this is a nice day, lower volume, and then boom, it drops down. Oh, this is a horrible day. But look at the volume. The volume is following the volume pattern. And in my mind, if your volume pattern is consistent and your price can actually move a little bit, your price can actually move a little bit and it still be within a tolerant range. Now notice it quieted right out, rested down here, and then boom, it popped again, and that's when it really started to take off. So it's all nice to say hold for 2.5 weeks you would have got 600%. You're like, yeah, I'm an idiot. I should have held for 2.5 weeks. From a psychological perspective, and by psychological I mean, look, we're all people. This is people perspective. This isn't this is emotions. This is tough to do. I've been in situations where I've straight up panicked and sold and like, oh my God, that was stupid. Why did I do that? And then instantly it turns right around. I mean, it happens to all of us all the time. So knowing what to do, keeping a clear head is extremely important in these types of situations where it pops up and it pulls back, because pullbacks are normal. Pullbacks are very normal. But I will say this, and this is with any kind of investing. While selling is an art, you actually make your money when you buy the stock, okay? And what I mean is this. If you were to buy this right at this ICO breakout level, say you bought it here and it didn't do what you want and you sold it instantly, okay? Taking quick losses is good. Say you sold it here and then over here, say you bought it and held on to it because it was curving up a little bit here, right? Versus here it was a pretty quick pullback. Anyway, if you bought over here, this doesn't look so scary because you're still positive. Okay, so maybe if you bought it up here to $1.30, maybe you take a loss over here, and then maybe you get back in over here. And intraday, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm not going to dig down that far, but from a psychological perspective, when you buy is how you basically make the most money, because it stops you from getting shaken out. It stops you from making rash decisions. And then you can hold for the 2.5 weeks to get the 600%. If you wait and wait and wait, and I've been on both sides of this coin. I've bought a little early and been killed. I've bought a little early and gone flat. I bought a little early and it's gone up in the stock market, not really in cryptos so much. I've only done a few trades in crypto, but I mean, you see these patterns again and again. The psychology is the same, but man, in crypto the moves are insane right now. So anyway, that's just a little bit on the possibility of what something like IOTA could do. Hey, that's a huge chart. I personally think, I said I don't do targets, but I mean, I would like this to be a 10 bagger. I'd like this to go to $5. I think that would be spectacular. Time frame for that, you know what? I don't know. As long as the chart is going in a good direction and the volume is acting appropriately, I don't see any reason for me to get out of IOTA. I think fundamentally it's strong. I think technically it's just as strong, and I think it has a good market cap. It's I think 7th on Coin Market Cap, ranked 7th. That's pretty good. You can't complain with that with a recent ICO. Anyway, that's IOTA. Hopefully it wasn't too long-winded. Hopefully you learned something. I know just doing this video helped me clarify this chart too. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity. All right, happy trading.